House Democrats are suddenly mum when confronted by radical DSA plans to destroy key institutions, such as, I don't know, like the U.S. Senate, for example. We have this article over at discernreport.com. It's actually a summary of an article by the Gateway Pundit. Margaret Flavin reported that House Democrats were suddenly mum or they deflected when confronted with the Democratic Socialists of America's radical plans to abolish key U.S. institutions. DSA co-chair Gustavo Gordillo. Could you think of a better comic book name for a Marxist villain? I cannot. DSA co-chair Gustavo Gordillo struggled to explain basic differences between the Senate and the House, but he was willing to advocate abolishing the Senate, the Electoral College, and then to replace the presidency and the Supreme Court with bodies that are subordinate to Congress. Common sense ideas, right? Who needs the Constitution if you've got socialists? Representative Khanna said he doesn't support it and hadn't read the proposal. Okay, weird. Representative Ilhan Omar dodged. She just claimed that she's not a DSA member, so apparently she has to be a member in order to read what they put out to the public. Representative Pete Aguilar said he looks forward to working with all Democrats, very much hedging his bet, knowing that there will be DSA members in the Democrat caucus following this election. They have already won their primaries in deep blue districts where Republicans don't have a chance. So there will be Marxists in Capitol Hill next year. And so, according to Pete Aguilar, he's just like, yeah, can't we just all get along? But meanwhile, they're all sweating it. They're all sweating it. Okay? Like, even the most radical Democrats, I'm talking about the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars and the Khannas, these aren't like moderates, but their ideas, their actions over the years appear to be moderate compared to what these radicals are doing, what these radicals are saying, what these radical Marxists want if they were ever to, God forbid, get strong at full power in the United States Congress. And it's not out of the question. As I've said many times, they don't need a majority of Democrats to be DSA members. They just need enough DSA members in order to sway the caucus, sway the Democrats if, again, God forbid, if Democrats do get control of the House, depending upon their margin, if their margin is not more than double the membership of the DSA that's in Congress, then the DSA will control Congress. That's just how the math works. This is very similar to what happened years ago when the House Freedom Caucus, the remnants of the Tea Party, when there were enough of those members to be able to sway. They didn't control, but they did sway the actions of the House when Republicans had control of it. When it was Speaker John Boehner, Speaker Paul Ryan, they had to, in many ways, they had to pander to the demands of the House Freedom Caucus. And it will be and the reason being is because there were just enough members of the Freedom Caucus to where if they voted as a bloc, they could stop legislation from moving forward if it didn't appease them, if they didn't get their cut of the legislation, so to speak, if they couldn't put in their goals, their desires. The DSA is going to do the same thing if Democrats are in control. If Democrats control the House, let's say they've got a 10 seat margin over the Republicans. That means that DSA only needs 6 members to essentially control, because the Democrats would need all 6 of those members in order to pass legislation. Or not, they wouldn't need all 6, but if all 6 of them voted as a bloc, and if, let's say that they didn't want to do this piece of legislation for Hakeem Jeffries unless they defunded ICE, for example, well, Hakeem Jeffries would have no choice. If they have enough DSA members in Congress, because they have the will, they have the desire, they have what they would consider to be a fake mandate, but it's still a mandate that they would use, they would force a Democrat-controlled Congress to do exactly what they want. This is why, this isn't like, oh, it's just a small group. Folks, a small group, because of the way that we have this two-party system that's been infected. One of the parties has been infected, As a result, they have become extraordinarily dangerous. They must be stopped. Of course, I'm a humongous fan of stopping the Democrats, but I'm a bigger fan of preventing the DSA from getting a foothold within the Democrat Party, because at least with the stupid, idiotic socialist Democrats, which is what they are, the socialists are now the mainstream, right? The radical Marxist, communist, full-blown America haters, if they get control, we're toast.
It will shock you how much it never happened.